doesn't like that window. So let me, if I pull the window up, then it'll grab that window. Okay. Dewey today is actually pretty gorgeous here. It's 79 degrees, 36% humidity, bright blue sky. Yesterday we got an inch and a half of rain. Go figure. That front came through and it cleared up very nicely. I've been telling Rock he really needs to get the programmers to work on an inverse function for the software. He's been haggling with them over that. Both an inverse and a sharpness. This software for the StarVision does have sharpness. The Mellencamp Sky software does not have sharpness. If you look here under where's the image, there's gamma, contrast, black level, and sharpness, and you can adjust the sharpness. I'm going to push it to max right now. You'll see it gets a little funky, but I zoomed into, let's see, let's go to 400. And I got the sharpness pushed to max. There's also noise reduction and 3D noise, which that doesn't exist in Mellencamp Sky. But I can tweak the noise and the 3D noise. It's almost like average stacking on the fly. Hey, Rusty. The wife may object, but I'm going to try to do a short deep sky broadcast at sunset. We've been trying to finish season 3 and season 4 of the 100 before the season 5 premiere at the end of the month of April. If y'all haven't seen the 100, it's a really good show. I'll type that in. It's about people that were in space stations in orbit when there was a total thermonuclear war that wiped out population on the Earth. And they combined the space stations somehow and lived in space for almost 100 years waiting for the radiation to go down. And then they sent 100 people to Earth to check to make sure that it was habitable. Really interesting. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Rusty, it's interesting. It's about how the people that did survive on the ground were able to interact with the people who came from the sky afterwards. Hi, Brian. I'm zooming out now. Uh, this is the star vision. Thanks, Brian. I have it in inverse view right now. There's not a whole lot on the surface itself. I'm recording a little video right now to post to YouTube in a little bit. As I was saying earlier, I'm going to try to get on at sunset. And the moon sets at what time? Let me look at Sky Tools. The moon sets at 7. No, it's not right. Moon says moon set, moon rise at 7:40. So I'm going to try to get out here. Oh, there went, what? It fell off the wall. Let me go see. Ugh. Something fell. Okay. Okay. No problem, Brian. I guess I could throw the MFR6 on this and try to get the whole disc. Let me try that right now. Let me put the MFR6 onto the scope. Hold on. I mean, onto the camera. Nose piece off. MFR6 on. Nose piece on. Okay. Let's see. Where is? Still can't get the whole sun. Oh, wait, I'm zoomed in. Hold on. Let me zoom out. Oh, okay. It still doesn't get the whole thing. Okay, gets more, but not the whole thing. Image exposure. Let me go back to the positive. Okay, there's the positive. Let me move down a hair. And go to the inverse. There's the inverse. Where's the exposure? Lower the exposure. Funny, in the inverse, you have to lower the exposure to make it brighter. the yeah, there were 100 people, mainly young people, sent to Earth. They were all convicted criminals, and they were sent to Earth because they were expendable. And it's how they have learned to adapt and survive once they got back down to the ground after 97 years in space. Uh, of course, haven't been in space 97 years. People have been living and breeding in space, but they're fairly young and they are now on the ground. Interesting premise. Let's see if there's anything near the bottom of the sun. Wrong way. Wrong way. Oh, me too. And what was interesting is that they bumped into people who did survive, called grounders, and there were other people who lived inside of an isolation chamber called the mountain men who survived. So there's a bunch of clans that have survived on the earth after the total annihilation of the people on the surface for the most part. Uh, Let me reduce the exposure. There's not a whole lot. I saw some semblance of spots earlier. Oh, let me turn off the negative. There was a few very small, minuscule spots. And there was one white area. Uh, 8, 10, 11, 12 milliseconds. Let's see. 12. Not, it's really best, I find, on the sun. I forget what the maximum exposure time is. It's really not a DSO camera. See, there's a filament coming in at the top 11 o'clock, and there's a white area where I saw what appeared to be a flare earlier today. Let's see. Okay, I stand corrected. Let me move it back up. It appeared nicer. See, there it is right there at the top center almost. Let me move it over a little bit. Let me zoom in. Let's see if I can try a better focus. The atmosphere is just not very. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah, okay. That's about the best I'm going to get it, Brian. And the sun right now is 24 degrees up at azimuth 261. Yeah, Dewey, it helps having this size scope. As I pointed out earlier, there are a few, it appears to be filaments running over here. Let me change the color. Let's see where else there could be. Let's see. Okay. There appears to be a long feature here, but it's not really popping out well. Let me see, I'm at what, 13? Let me go down to, let me go to 13.5 with the pressure on the primary. And we raise the secondary to at 15. Nope, that didn't do anything. Okay, Rusty. Let me go down to 12.5. That linear feature just disappeared. Let me go even lower. 11.5. Nope, not there. Let me go back up to go to 13. Nope, I don't see it. There was a feature there that's gone now. Let me try some other adjustments. Let's see. Let me try contrast. Black level. There's a lower black level and sharpness. Color. Okay. Okay. Let me go back to prom detail. See what else I can pull out. Ooh, too much. Joey, you talking about remote desktop? I like remote desktop with my little mini PC. Really works great. Let me move it down and see if I can pull out some, there they are right there. Okay. Sun's now at 23 degrees altitude. Let me see, where's that pine tree? Oh, it's just skirting to the right of the big pine tree that's dead in my brother's yard. Okay. Let me zoom in on that. Okay. No kidding. Too much software, not enough time. That's the problem. So that's some prompts. I'm zoomed in at what, 250? No kidding, Brian. Brian, I'm able to get really good results so far using a little Minix mini PC. The only thing I haven't tried yet is taking my laptop, logging into my Wi-Fi card, and then logging the mini PC into the Wi-Fi card to have them totally standalone. But as far I can run the DS16C directly off the USB port that's built into the Minix box. There's 3 USB 3 ports, and I do not need a amplified hub. I have no information on that 1.1 gigahertz Pentium processor, what, you know, how efficient it is, but I do have 16 gigs of RAM, and it seems to be working well in my in living room testing. I still have to bring it outside. Yeah, it was a little bit. I debated going with the compute stick like you got and like Doug got, and when I started looking at this little Minix box, it looked like a pretty good system. It has 3 video outputs, HDMI. God, what is it? There's 3 different outputs, and you can run 3 different monitors at the same time. Yeah. Am I in inverse view? Not yet. Let me go to inverse view. Oh, there's inverse view. Okay, let me lower the exposure to inverse views to kind of pull out more detail in the proms themselves. And the one at the bottom right, if you lower the exposure, you can actually see the. Ah, okay. I forgot that I have a video going. I'm at 24 minutes into a recording. Not bad. Let me see. Go up, 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 up. We'll go a little bit to the left, right, I mean, right, no. How about that right? And what about, see, there's nothing at the bottom. There's a little bit of stubble at 9:30 on the. Not much there. Oh well, let's see. Let me go back to a positive, and let me change the exposure to something a little bit longer. Yeah, that's not very much of a. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm getting ready to sign off myself. I may be on later at sunset to do a little short deep sky, but glad y'all could stop by. I'm going to shut it down for now, and maybe I'll be on in about, what time is it now? It's 5:30. About 7 o'clock, maybe. See y'all later. Bye for now.